Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Disc Golf Answer Man. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Waco, Texas Annual Charity Open and your disc golf questions. Let go.
There you go.
Hey everybody, this is Bobby Cool. Oh, Daddy Slick Breeze. And I'm with me, Danny Newhire Lindahl.
Heyo.
Hello.
Just started on Monday, March 19th. He's filling in while Eric McCabe is gone. And then down at the end of the table, we have Robert. Bobby should be shaking in his boots. McCall.
Look out, my friend.
Robert McCall coming back from a very good, started out a little rough.
Yeah.
But ended up a good weekend down at Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
Showing up people that not only can he manage a team, but he can play.
I can throw a frizz.
He can throw a frisbee now and again. Let's get back to Danny. Now, Danny, you just started. You moved here into Emporia, Kansas. You're here. You're going to be a content producer. You're going to be an editor and things like that here for DD. How is it? I know it's only day, 1.5, but how are things going for you?
They're pretty all right.
Yeah? Getting all moved into your apartment?
Yeah, figuring out the software. Messed up the one
yeah.
upload this morning.
Yeah, if you subscribe to us, you probably already know. You can see he's already made a rookie mistake. So we've uploaded a video, had to take it down, and he had to fix it, but that's all good.
No, Bobby fixed it.
We all live and learn. I'm sure you've had a chance to drive around Emporia. Probably took you about all of 20 minutes to see the entire town.
If you loop the entire outside,
I know.
Yeah,
So
20 minutes is about right.
So good to go there.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have Danny here for the first half to help us answer some questions. And then after that, we're going to invite Anthony to come over and help us with some questions. Because Eric is, I don't know if he wants to, I don't know if he wants people to know.
Let's just, we'll let him talk about it next
We'll let him
week.
talk. It's nothing but serious, but it's kind of fun and exciting. But
Oh, it's serious.
but it might not work.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so anyway, so we'll let him explain next week. But he is out doing some stuff, and so we're having Danny and Anthony fill in.
Yeah.
So now to Robert.
What's up, man?
Shot a 55
The old 55.
on day 3, right?
Yeah, so we went down to the Waco Annual Charity Open. It's played on, the course is called Brazos Park East, but people call it the Beast, and affectionately. And that's because it is kind of separated into 2 courses. One is a little bit more open holes. That's usually the front 9, and then the back 9 is all in pretty darn tight woods. This tournament for the Waco Annual Charity Open, they start on course hole 7, so that you play a couple of holes in the open, and then go back and play a middle stretch of 9 holes, and then your finishing 6 holes are back out in the open. So it's a little bit more spectator friendly. So the hole numbering is a little bit confusing, but the course is awesome. Like one of my favorites in Texas for sure. Really challenging and will test all aspects of your game. So I started out the first day. I got to play this event, which is awesome. Started out the first day cruising along okay. It was really windy the first day, gusty. 20 miles an hour sustained is pretty fair, and gusts up to probably 30 or 35. And once back in the woods, I just kind of played okay, bogey here and there, nothing crazy, few birdies. But once I got to tournament hole 17, I was 5 under, which on the day, that would have been pretty good that day. I think had I finished at 5 under, that would have been 10-10 or 10-12, something like that. Got to tournament hole 17, and it basically looks like a backwards 7. So fairway with OB on both sides of it, straight forward, and then a 90-degree dogleg right with OB on both sides of that.
And many trees in the fairway too, right?
Yep. Yeah, plenty of obstructions in the first part of the fairway, and I could not land a disc in bounds. I threw out of bounds 3 times, and I took the old snowman, the hot 8 on that hole.
The hot snowman.
Yeah, it's a hot snowman. I was still under par, which I was happy. I finished, ended up finishing 1 under par that day. So that was a 66. The leaders were at like 56 or something like that. So I did not play well to my standards. It ended up being rated 981. So it's not great. Fine, but not great. Second day, a little bit more committed. I took a 5 on hole 17 instead of an 8. So
Improvement.
3-stroke improvement. And honestly, truly, and there wasn't much wind. Honestly, I stepped up to 18. I was like, dude, I already did way better. Like, this round's going to be better. And so I just 4'd 18. It's a par 4, but it's a pretty easy 3 for me. because I don't go across the water. I just play a hyzer to the safe side and then pitch over. And I just didn't really focus. I got a 4. So anyway, but that was a 60. So 6 shots better than the day before in better conditions, but still 6 shots better. That moved me to a tie for 46th. And that was rated 1004.
Were you cashing at that point? Were you above the
I
cash
was
line?
1 under the cut line, the cash line. So that would have been 42 or 43 people. I was tied for 46th. And so I knew I needed to make some moves. And so we got to Saturday's round and I hit the first tree available on my drive, but got a 3, no problem. Then I birdied 2 in a row, the other 2 open holes. Then I parred 1 in the woods. Then I birdied 5 in a row in the woods. Then I parred, I think it was 2 or 3 in the woods, then another 5 in a row. And then I took a 4 on tournament 17. Fantastic. Like I finally committed to the drive, right? And we did have a headwind that day. And I just took an Explorer and said, if I'm going to screw this up, I'm going to make the right mistake and I'm going to push it too far right. And I just hit that Explorer perfectly. And it was pretty much in the landing zone where you want to be, maybe a little tight to the far trees. To where my angle into the green wasn't great, but I still got a 4. So great improvement. And then just yanked my drive on 18 a little bit. That went out of bounds. But I got up and down. So I still secured par. And so I ended up shooting a 12 under 55. And that was, so 12 birdies, 6 pars. That was the hot round. Me and my, another guy on my card, Mike Conley, who is newly Latitude 64 sponsored guy. Fantastic individual. Love playing golf with Mike. We both shot 55s on my card. That was the hot round up until Peter McBride of Team Dynamic Discs turned into 13 under 54. But that was the only score that beat ours. So
Wow.
It moved me up 21 spots. So I jumped up to tied for 25th and well into the cash.
Nice. What was it rated?
Last time I looked, it was 1041. Wow. It honestly felt a lot better because that course is just so difficult. But if that's what it ends up being, then 1041 is just fine.
That's pretty far above 1,000.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So it was cool. And honestly, if you've gone to bigger tournaments and stuff, I just didn't expect this, but I had some of the touring guys come up and be like, hey, I know you played disc golf, but that's a really good round, man. So that was kind of nice, to receive some credit from people who do it every single week, even though it was really just one round, but it was fun to go out and do for sure.
Very nice.
Well, good job, Robert McCall.
Thank you. But also look out.
Look out.
Yeah, I haven't done the math on the next update, but I think if I have a decent event or two in the next couple, we might be in business. We might be.
Or if you do bad,
then it might have been all for naught.
All for naught.
That's right.
When is your next event? Are you playing the Monkey Island?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we'll have to sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
So anyway,
just Cobra Kai that thing.
So real quick, I want to make sure you guys know about some stuff that we have going on. Of course, disc golf match play is well underway. Go to udisc.com/match play to see some of the action that's happening as far as results. Tomorrow is Wednesday is actually one of the big ones that we have going on because it's our man in charge, the boss, Jeremy Rusko, going up against Kevin Schaefer, graphic designer. We're actually going to have some fun, maybe go out and do some video, some live stuff with that. So looking forward to that. But I know that I believe there's some brackets out there in people's areas that might.
Yeah, they've started.
Yeah, but they might still have some openings.
Probably.
Yeah. So make sure you check again, udisc.com/matchplay. See if there's one in your area that you can get signed up for. Get your chance to win 18 veteran baskets shipped to your house.
Yeah.
And discs for life.
Dude.
Discgolfmatchplay.com.
Super cool.
Yeah, for more information.
Yeah.
The other thing we have going on is,
I just have a shout out to UDisc.
Oh, yeah.
So UDisc has been on the market for a little while, mostly just as a scoring app to start, and then they jumped into stats for the Pro Tour, and then they, as we've talked about on the show, they really boosted Winter Marksman League. But this was the first weekend that I got to play an event where my stats were kept, and I have such a new appreciation for UDisc because it's so cool to get to compare how you played in a specific area of the game to everybody else. Like for me, one of the things I was proud of this weekend, I finished top 10 in both of the putting stats. So nice. I want to say I was 9th inside the circle and 10th outside or vice versa. But I was like 91% inside the circle and something like 30 1 or something outside. And that was good for 10th and 9th. I don't remember in which order. But yeah, just to get to see those things and compare yourself to people at the event, super cool. So huge shout out to Matt and Josh. They are, I think they are doing something that will allow our sport to go to the next level even quicker than it currently is.
Absolutely.
Great dudes. Well done.
The events I've played with the UDIS scoring has been really cool.
Super cool.
My stats are really bad, but the scoring is cool.
Yes. Yeah, the system
Please
is awesome.
don't look them up.
Yeah.
Then one other thing I want to mention is a really cool partnership we have with Azuka Karts. They're partnering with us for the Junior World Championships here in Emporia, Kansas. We are not allowed to say the specifics of the partnership, but what we can say is
Each person gets a car.
a car.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's not it?
No,
Okay,
it's not
sorry.
it.
One of those
I'm
like battery powered plastic cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's we can't say.
No, we can't say,
It
but
could be a car.
it will not be a car.
Okay, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not.
So, but if you are traveling out and you're signed up for Junior Worlds, I suggest that you make or leave or create some kind of room to have something extra special to take home with you.
Cars don't fit in other cars.
Cars do
So
not
bring
fit
an
in other
extra
cars.
driver with you.
Right. So you're not getting a car. All right. What do you say we get to the questions
Okay, yeah, I probably should.
before you give away too many cars?
Yeah, sorry. You get a
We
car.
got Oprah, yeah.
Remember, as always, guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com and submit your disc golf question. Right now, I want to I appreciate your patience, except for the one guy that left a comment on our website. I don't appreciate your patience. But
Your patience is unappreciated.
we have put a halt on the Google Forms so that we can kind of catch up. I already have a plan for this. So for some of you that are thinking, well, then why aren't you asking questions from the Google Forms? Hold on. We've got some stuff in the works. We have some special guests that are coming into town, and we're going to work with them to answer some of the Disc Golf Answer Man questions.
Anthony?
Anthony, yes. Anthony will finally come into town.
Nice, man.
No. We actually have Tina Stenitis
Ooh.
and Eric Oakley coming into town. They are playing in the Monkey Island Open, but they also, as always, are willing to help out with content and get some information out to you guys. So we're going to sit down with them and bust out some Disc Golf Answer
I
Man
bet you they're going to be in
questions.
a horrible mood.
Yeah,
They're
they're
gonna be
always
angry the whole
really
time.
yeah, they're always really
Always
upset about
raging.
life. Yeah.
So anyway, where was I? Yes, send us those questions.
Yeah.
Let's go to SpeakPipe.
Let's.
Let's see what first one's from Ian.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. Robert, I've never met a comb over I didn't like McCall.
False.
Eric,
I've
you
seen
can't
lots of
catch
bad
me.
ones.
I'm the ginger beard man, McCabe.
Ginger
And
beard man.
Anthony, Bobby never gets my name right, Vanden Heuvel.
Oh, there we
This
go.
is Ian from Illinois. But before I get to my question, I was signing up for the Clash at the Canyons, which is an A tier out here in May, and couldn't help but notice Robert and Anthony are signed up to play.
What's up?
I really can't wait to meet and chat with both you guys, along with Jordan Castro and any other DD players that may be attending. I actually bought some discs back from Anthony a few years ago when he worked at this place called Aces and Chains. But anyways, I have a question for you.
What event?
It's called Clash at the Canyons. It's an A tier in at Delwood. Yeah, from what I hear, it's a beautiful course, and Anthony and Kevin and I are going to go up there and play.
When is it?
It is, when is it? So a couple weekends after GBO.
Oh, okay.
You guys, it has to do with the putting circle and more specifically the size of it. We all know that the circle is 10 meters or just under 32 feet. But my question is, when do we lengthen circle one? Is it at 10 meters just because that's a nice round number? Do you think that the circle's fine the way it is? 12 meters is just under 40 feet, and I feel like that would be a much more appropriate distance in NT and major events. I watch great step putters like Paul Ulibarri, Dave Feldberg, Johnny McRae, Patrick Brown, and I wonder, how many of those 35 to 38 footers could they make if they, wouldn't step into their putt? I know 8 feet may not seem like a lot, but I feel like it goes a really long way inside the circle. But would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Robert just picked up my first Warden. I'm loving it.
My man.
Just keep on doing what you guys are doing for the disc golf community. And as always, keep it real.
What do you guys got?
Thoughts? What do you think?
I think they would make just as many.
Probably so.
I mean,
Great insight. Thanks, guys.
no, people have been talking
Way to
about
break it down.
like either getting rid of the circle or making it bigger and stuff like that. I think just get good at putting. That's really the only thing you can do is just make your putts and don't really I wouldn't really worry too much about what the other people are doing.
I agree. Yeah, this weekend, I've watched those guys, and there have been times where I was a decent step putter, and if it was right outside the circle, I was stepping every single time, which makes it sound like I was dancing or something like that. I was like stepping off, or about to start a fight. Yeah. both of which are a lot like
Step
me.
to me.
Yeah, that's right. But since I've
step up off me,
I've really this change would be just fine for me. Frankly, I don't care because out to 40 or 45 feet, I'm standing still anyway.
Step off. I'm doing the hump. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I don't think it's a necessary change. I don't think that guys like that gain such an advantage from having the circle be the size that it is, because honestly, it's a more complex movement, and I think it's more difficult to master. Kudos to them for mastering it, but I think if you change the circle, they'd probably still make the same number of putts because they would just practice those just like they practice the ones that they make now.
And then you get people saying, why is it not 15 meters or something like that? Because it really doesn't matter as long as you're not jump putting from close to the basket. Yeah. That's really the only purpose of it. They just picked a number that made it so you weren't super close, so people couldn't like slam dunk from super close.
Exactly.
Ooh, baby, gonna get to you, girl.
Oh, you made me think of the step.
Ooh, baby.
Wait.
Ooh, step by step.
That fits nowhere in.
I'd be stepping.
I'd be stepping step by step. Next one is from.
Thanks for buying that Warden, by the way. Well done.
Well done.
Great putter.
Next one's from Anonymous. He's so anonymous, it's not working. Sorry, Anonymous. Your recording is not working. Let's go to Scott.
Hello, DGAM crew. I have a question about disc flight and distance. If you look at a flight chart like at inbounds disc golf for, say, a trespass, you see a little bit of early turn and then a fade back left at the end, but also a distance of around 430 feet. I've been playing for less than 2 years, and while I'm getting better and throwing farther, nothing close to that. However, the flight generally looks like the shape it should be, except I'm probably throwing around 260 feet, maybe more, maybe less. Tough to tell with bad tee signs and uphill downhill shots. What is it about my throw that I need to work on? I would think if it was rounding and or oat that I would just be forcing everything over to the right. Thank you very much.
Sounds to me like oat is off-axis torque. It's when the disc is wobbling like a wounded duck out of your hand. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're throwing the disc flat and forcing it over. It means there's any sort of wobble that is just going to destabilize it. So
and that comes from mismatched angles.
Yeah, it comes from either following through too low or not getting enough rotation on the disc is the other thing that it could be.
Oh yeah.
And I can see that being the cause of flipping over a trespass early and then it coming back to about 260. I wouldn't say that it's a beat up disc or like it's super seasoned because it is coming back. But I would say it sounds like there is that wobble on your throw. I would focus on raising your follow through. Most often people follow through too low. I very rarely see someone follow through too high, and focusing on getting your hand on the outside of the disc rather than the front so you can get more rotation on there. And that will add the gyroscopic stability to the disc's natural aerodynamic stability, and that's going to get you a better flight.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think that if you are getting that flight, but it's only out to 260, 280, I don't think that's anything to freak out about either. I think that that's something that you can build on, and maybe that's the right disc for you, or maybe it might help you to learn on something slightly more understable in a trespass, because something like that's a little bit faster and has a decent bit of high-speed stability might mask some of the form issues that you're having. Sure. So if you step back to something a little bit more neutral or even slightly understable, like an escape might be a good option. Even something like
Maverick.
Maverick is a super good choice, because it should just be a beeline for you, or even move a little bit right. That's the sort of flight that you're looking for from a disc like that.
And those are going to require a clean release.
Yes.
So if you throw something like a Maverick or like an Escape with that wobble on it, it's going to flip over and burn right away. Yep. But I can tell you it's going to go, if you get a clean release on it, it'll go just as far as the trespass, if not further, if you're only throwing it with 260 power.
Excellent. Next one comes from Wesley.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? It's Wesley Wilson from West Memphis, Arkansas, once again. And I have a question about headphones. I like to practice with my headphones, not so much play tournament rounds or league rounds with my headphones, unless, during the league rounds, some of the guys are having pretty good time. So I'm kind of more relaxed about it anyway. So it's not that big of a deal for a little sound distraction. I mean, I've been in a round where there was some distractions around the course that I'll pop them in for, while I'm putting or something. But for the most part, it's mostly practicing and field work. And I'm out there working on new lines and stuff with testing out new discs like Ballista Pro. It came out, that's a disc it's not fun to throw at 50 to 60%. So you get out there with the Ballista Pro and want to play with it. You're out there throwing 80%, 90%, just trying to see what it can do. At least I am. And when I do that with the headphones I have, they kind of want to fall off. They're Bluetooth, and they have that U that goes around the back of your neck. And so when you really brace and get a lot of rotation, they try to sling off. So I didn't know if there was like a better brand to play in that you might want to talk about, Eric McCabe. All jokes aside, though. How are those headphones, man?
Well, Eric isn't here, so he can't talk to them about the headphones. But I know that
I will communicate with him telepathically real quick.
Okay.
He's not picking up.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
I went to the answering machine.
But I know Robert borrowed them.
I did not borrow them yet.
He did not borrow them
I
yet.
offered to test them out for him, but then we left.
Okay. And that was at the memorial, right?
Yeah. I don't often play in headphones, but I think the ones that have stayed best for me are ones that go over your ear and then go in your ear. Those are the ones that I enjoy. If I'm going to play in them, those are the ones that I like to use so that I don't worry about them, sloshing around or whatever. And I've found with not wireless headphones, but Bluetooth wireless in that, like they're connected to one another, but not to something else, that you do have that issue of when you throw hard, that little U that kind of goes around the back of your neck like a necklace, it can get dislodged really easily. And so I like to, if I'm going to play with headphones in, I like to have just a regular old wired one because I know they're not going anywhere. That's just me though.
I've tried it both ways. I have Bluetooth headphones that I've tried and they do fall out. Mm. And then the wired ones always feel like they're going to pull my ear off the side of my head. True. When I'm throwing, because like,
you have to give them some slack for
subconsciously.
Sure.
It's not actually going to happen, but I think that I haven't found a way to play in headphones. But there was one time I was playing at the Nick Hyde Memorial. Yes. Again, one of those tournaments. We're not going to talk about my stats, but there was somebody who was putting. I believe his name was Scott Dyer. He had headphones in, and while he was putting, he was playing Unsteady. That song that was like, hold on. Yeah. That's not the song I want in my head. It was blasting it too, like on repeat, full volume.
That you could hear while you were putting?
Yes, it was.
It's not.
It's just funny, the song choice.
That's something you can call him on, right?
Yeah, you could ask him to turn it down.
He was having a rough round. I really didn't want to. Probably because of the song.
You just hang out over there, buddy. Do your thing.
All right, next one comes from Daniel.
Hey, Disc Golf Fans, man. How's it going? Daniel here. Had a question about thumb placement. Watching the Las Vegas Challenge this weekend on YouTube, and I just noticed a lot of the pros' thumb placements were deeper on the flight plate than I usually put my placement. And I started playing around with it more, and really burying my hand on the disc. And I felt I was getting more power. I was playing a lot of wind today, just like they were playing this weekend, and but just kind of noticing a lot of the power I was getting out of my shots. Just haven't really felt that out of my hand for a while now, and I'm just wondering how important is it? How important is that thumb position? Just let me know. Let me know what you think about that. What you, Eric, and Robert do for your thumb placement. Where do you put your thumb? And really, how crucial is that thumb placement? Just let me know. Thanks for your show, guys. I love it, and thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, can I start with this one?
You can.
So there are generally two styles that I see in backhand form from the top level professionals. This is something I'm still sort of researching. I haven't like fully fleshed out the idea enough to make a video on it. But the people with longer arms, your Simon, Eagle, even Ricky, they will grab the disc with their thumb further in, and the disc will sit almost a little bit more nose up because of that in their hand. But their pull is lower. Their pull is almost down by their stomach. It's a little bit higher than that, but that's they're pulling it and they're whipping their arm, and they'll actually reach back across their body. Will Schustrick does this too. James Conrad, all those real tall, lanky guys, they'll reach across and then they'll make the power pocket normal, but because their arms are so long, they get that the flex of the disc moving back and forth creates almost like a pendulum shift, and then they can snap it out. And that really only works if you have long arms. So I've tried to teach it to people, and it really only works if you're above like 6'2". So for most of us like, how tall are you?
This is 5'10".
5'10".
Just not close.
Oh, me too, dude.
Oh,
Missed
nice.
it by that much.
So close.
Anyway, so the people with shorter arms are going to be Paul Macbeth, Bradley Williams. How tall is Brad?
Brad's about 6 foot, 6'1".
Okay. But he's not like 6'2".
He's not a giant.
Yeah.
No.
Or the smaller frame guys are going to throw with a wide rail, which is where you make the same sort of pendulum shift, but the other direction. So you start with it wide and then you swing it in close and throw it wide. So that's why they put their hands further. They put their thumb further out, so it helps the disc be more nose down because they're pulling it higher. They don't have long enough arms to pull it as low as before. This is if you're not throwing super far, don't try it. Like I know this is more of a beginner focused show. I wouldn't recommend anyone trying it. Just pull straight, because everyone can pull straight no matter your body type, and you can throw 450 pulling straight. But once you've hit that and you're looking for the next step to get to 500, 550, that's when you want to start looking into the deep reach back or the wide rail.
And when he's talking about thumb placement too, probably a good place to start is where you're almost pinching between your index and your thumb.
For sure.
It'll be like the knuckle of your thumb, but that's about where I grab the disc. And that's what feels natural to me. I know that from where my thumb is, you don't want to be any closer to the edge of the rim than where mine is, but you could go a little bit farther if you are doing a little bit more of that kind of reaching back across your body a little bit
And
more.
you're not pointing your thumb directly at the middle of the disc either. It's maybe a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
If you're trying that.
Yep.
The issue that some beginners have is where they put their thumb too close to the outer edge, and then the grip comes from the fingers into the palm. And that's really not what you're looking for, because then all your fingers are going to release at once, and it could create a little bit of wobble on it, or just not as powerful. So your force when you grip needs to be up and down between the pointer and the thumb.
Yep.
And that's why also if you try the deep flight plate thumb grip without knowing what you're doing, it's going to create more wobble and just mess everything up.
Yeah.
Excellent. Next one comes from Matt.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man. This is Matt McClure from West Plains, Missouri. I have a question pertaining to selling discs. Kind of live in a secluded area, and there's one shop that sells discs here. It's all Trilogy, good selection, but it doesn't get restocked very often. So I was considering starting to sell discs pretty much out of my garage or out of my vehicle at local get-togethers and things of that nature. Thought that maybe the three of you individually would be able to give good insight, seeing how Bobby is in media and promoting, and Robert in team management, and Eric having sold discs as to support himself as a touring pro. So I'm just curious as to what my options are as far as selling discs. Do I purchase them wholesale? What are the kinds of selections you can get? The cost up front, I don't have a storefront, so I'm looking for different options to try to help the guys out around here. I see that a lot of people go through a lot of different discs. They purchase a lot of different stuff and cycle them through their bags. And I feel like people are just buying a lot of discs that they don't really know what to do with and end up paying a lot of money for something they don't like. So if I could offer them options to actually try stuff out, I thought that might be helpful. Your insight would be great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
First, I would tell you is if you see a need, if you feel like you can you fill a need, I think that's great. But I would do a lot more research to find out, because oftentimes I've seen this where people want to start something and they'll ask a few friends, and be like, yeah, I would, if I only had, I'd buy all kind, and then they, people invest money into it based on a little bit of research, and then they find out that it takes a lot more than just a few of your friends that want to buy some discs to sustain that. You'll definitely obviously want to get on a wholesale type program with the manufacturers, because you get them at a cheaper price, and then you turn around, you sell them, and you make a profit. And everybody hates the word profit, but that's what makes things work. Is you have to make money to continue to invest more money into what you're trying to do. As far as pricing and stuff like that, we're not on the sales team. We're not going to know specifics, and we're not going to talk about specifics, because that's why we have a sales team, because they work all that specifics out. I know there is certain things about having to have, a tax ID, having to have a storefront. There are certain guidelines that we have just because of experienced things we've experienced in the past. But again, I don't want to speak to that, because that's why we have a sales team that will take care of people as far as that front. If you are really serious about it, make sure you email someone at sales@dynamicdisc.com and tell them that you are interested in becoming a retail partner, and they will get you more information from there.
Good.
Not much more you can say about that.
No, that's good. Nailed it.
Next one is from Rock.
Dude, Rock, man.
Rocket.
G'day, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric McCabe, and Robert, I really hope you make 1,000 McCall.
My man.
Just want to say a huge thank you. I ordered a Lucid Warden the other day, and I put a little sneaky little request in, and lo and behold, it arrived at work, because, that's how I do things to stop the missus from finding out. And it had a little signature from Robert McCall and Eric McCabe on my disc. I was a very happy chappy indeed.
Nice.
Very, very much so. Just wanted to
I must
ask
have been
a
out of
question
town
today about the things you...
I must have been out of town. I'm sorry, Rock.
You normally would have signed it.
Yeah,
but you
normally I
didn't.
would have. Yeah. So.
Good for you,
to
man.
self-reflect mid-round. If you're having a bad throwing day, if your throw's just not quite firing on all cylinders, what's the little checklist you go through in your head? What questions do you ask for? What things do you look at in the technique of your throw to see whether you can get yourself back on track, as opposed to, standing there and throwing the disc out of bounds and having to re-tee and then throw it out of bounds and then start crying a little bit, and your friends are there, but they're not there in a supportive way. They just look at you and, laugh a little bit of smirking. Someone gets their camera out, Now, just hoping to find a way of solving this stuff mid-round. Obviously not me, asking for a friend, of course. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
I was so hoping this guy would call in.
Rock is the man, dude. I love when he calls in with questions. Okay, Rock, here it is. And it's not going to be the answer that you expected, I promise.
Uh-oh.
But here it is. If you are struggling during a round, and you kind of need to reset and figure out what's going on with your technique, you probably don't need to change anything with your technique. What you do need to change is something with your brain, right? Most of the issues that you have on the course are mentally, are related to your mental game. At least that's how it is for me. And I'll say that here's a disclaimer ahead of time. If you've kind of grooved your form in, if you have pretty consistent form each time, if you spent time videoing yourself and making sure that your pull through is good and that your angles are good and that your footwork is good, your brace is good, everything like that. It doesn't even need to be perfect. It just needs to be where you understand how your game is. Almost every time I'm throwing poorly in a tournament, it's because I'm doing something wrong mentally. And for me, most of the time, that's not committing to my shot, right? So I'll think about my angle, but then I'll just kind of get lazy with it. Or I'll think about my angle, and then I'll really try to force it. Instead, what I do when I'm throwing poorly is I take a minute and think, I have to follow through. Follow through is the most important thing that you can do in disc golf. Across the board, bar none, if you follow through, even your bad shots can be okay because you're committing to what you think you're supposed to do. I never mess with my swing mid-round ever. Unless say I'm throwing a forehand and I know that I rolled my wrist over. Okay, I'll think keep my wrist up or something. But that's more about committing to the shot than it is changing a form thing. So across the board, I would say the biggest thing that you need to do is mentally commit to your shot and follow through. If I'm throwing poorly, those are usually the two culprits.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The mentally committing thing, but I think as far as committing to what is kind of changes from person to person.
Sure.
Because I've never really had an issue with follow through, but I will lots of times just forget to reach back.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't usually end well. Sends the disc about 45 degrees to the right and way up in the air. And my favorite warden lands in the lake.
Rip.
That's fine. So I think it's about finding what to commit to. I know a lot of people like me won't commit to reaching back, or they'll get nervous and try and look at the target right as they're releasing.
Right.
And that's going to throw off your entire shot and make you pull it to the right as well. So I think what you're saying is just take a minute. Just don't think about disc golf for a minute. Just take a second, find your happy place and just chill out. And then when it's time to throw, focus on committing to whatever part of your form you need to commit to and getting it done.
Yeah. And I always like my swing thought, or my thought on the box is just what's my target. I pick what I'm aiming at, and I don't think about any of the physics of the flight or anything like that. I just think about that thing and throw.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a real quick break, and we come back. We'll be joined by Anthony,
Tony V,
Husk Van de Google.
Really close.
All right, we are back, and we have with us our second special guest, and that is Anthony.
Me.
Anthony.
Yeah, that is my middle name, Anthony.
Anthony.
Anthony Vanden Heuvel.
Yep.
Anthony was with us in Waco, Texas. Had a really good time. We've already talked about the tournament, but I want Anthony to go into his thoughts on how is it living with me and Robert for 5 days in an RV?
I have never enjoyed not being around you two more in my entire life. No, it really wasn't bad.
No, it was
Bobby
fun.
had a door so we couldn't hear him snore.
I snore bad.
Robert,
face.
I feel like was nice enough to let me fall asleep first.
Yes.
Or just doesn't snore.
It's the latter, but both.
So anyway, we had a good time out there, living in the RV, living in a van down by the river.
The video you posted though was hysterical.
Yeah, the cat.
Like two cats and a dog playing checkers or whatever.
You need to follow me on Facebook if you want to know what to talk
super
about.
good.
It was a funny video. But we won't waste any more time. Let's jump right back into our questions.
Oh.
No.
I do have one. I mean, it's more about Robert, but I feel like it would be if you were there
by
too.
all means.
Traveling, living with you two, whatever. Traveling to Texas with Robert is the best if you enjoy eating all of the tacos.
Hey, let's talk about Torchies. Let's talk about it.
Enjoy eating tacos, what feels like every meal of the day. Go to Texas with Robert.
Come on, dude. Let's eat some Torchies, man.
So Torchy's Tacos, if you're not familiar, is a taco place in Texas, mainly in Texas. I think they have some stuff.
Yeah, there's a couple in Oklahoma.
City,
Yeah.
But they're like American fusion tacos. I mean, you have tacos that have fried chicken in them. Well, of course, the big one we had was the Roscoe, which had an egg, waffle, a piece of fried chicken, and then you put more maple syrup over it.
Bacon.
Oh, bacon. I always
Bacon
forget the
strips.
bacon.
Yeah, it's a
And then-
chicken. It's basically a chicken and waffles taco.
Yeah.
So unbelievably good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Breakfast
good.
of champions.
I'd say Torchies is probably the place I miss eating at most from moving from Texas to here, because we had one right by the church. I mean, walking distance from the church. Maybe Chick-fil-A too. That's what I miss a lot.
So we ate there every night we were there, and including one morning for breakfast.
I know you're probably thinking like, okay, you said every night, but you meant like a couple nights. No, we meant that we ate there every single night.
We were there for 5 days. We had Torchies 6 times.
6 times.
The only other place we ate was the food truck that was in the tournament.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't eat. Oh, on the way back we ate at
Check Stop.
Check Stop,
but
and
no,
then
BJ's. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just because it was close to
because
us.
there
was no Torchies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ask me if I have any regrets.
Nope. Oh,
I do
wait,
not.
I don't
No
either.
regrets.
I have no regrets.
No regrets.
All right, now let's get to the questions. So this one is from Lucid Trespass. So now we have our discs asking us questions.
Cool.
I feel like
When will I come out of
Hey,
Lucid X?
Disc Golf Answer Min. Hope everything's going good. My question today has been a real big debate in my local disc golf community. And I don't know if we're just being a bunch of big babies about it or not. So I'm hoping maybe a little insight from you guys will help us out. There's a B tier in our area, 250 players, 65 for AMs, 100 for pros. And he's also having 2 fundraiser events for this main event. And AMs aren't getting script. And, some people care, some people don't care. To others, it's a huge deal. Some people have kind of worked out the numbers on roughly what this person should be expecting to bring in during the event. And I'm just wondering how you guys feel about that. He said that he's putting amateur money into the pro side, taking amateur money for pro payout, and thus far does not leave enough money for script for AMs. So just curious how you guys feel about that. Thanks for listening and keep it real.
First of all, tell me what script is.
Clarification: script is funny money, credit to
like gift cards to the local shop.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's how if you don't have payout on site, and even if you do, they'll just this is your credit that you use to get that.
That's like what we do at Monkey Island, where they
we'll just
store
say,
credit to the retail store.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So basically, what the scenario that he's describing is a trophy only event. Well, I mean, you probably get a players pack, but across the board, yeah, there's not payout for the amateur divisions. How do I feel about that? If we're talking like disc golf, like other sports, then yeah, true amateurs don't receive any prizes. The whole reason that you compete is to say that you competed and try and win because you've proven something. Because disc golf has kind of set itself apart from that, I could see how you would be frustrated having it be a trophy only event. Now, here would be my suggestion. If it's something like that bothers you enough to not play the event, you can vote with your feet and just not play it. That stinks. Yeah. But if you really want the tournament director to hear your complaint about it, then you can do it by not playing the event. If I was an amateur, I'd probably still play it because I love playing disc golf competitively, and if that means that I get something at the end for winning or don't, is kind of no consequence to me. But that's me.
Yeah, I think as long as it's announced going into it that it is trophy only, I don't think it's that big of a deal because, like you said, if you don't want to participate in that because you're not going to possibly get the $40, $100, whatever you could win, I don't think it's that big an issue. If you don't want that, don't play that event. Mm-hmm. It would be one thing if you showed up the day of and then he says, okay, congratulations, 5th place. Here's a high 5. 3rd place gets...
Here's a high 3.
Yeah. That would be an issue. But if it's announced and everyone knows it going into it, I don't really see an issue. As an AM for life, I don't like it. Because, like...
Sure. You'd rather get something.
Of course.
For sure.
But I doubt I would not play an event just because there's no way I'm going to win anything.
I think that's where I'd be at too.
If it was at like a course I didn't like and it was an hour-and-a-half drive and there wasn't any chance of something, then maybe I wouldn't. Mm. But I probably wouldn't play that in the first place anyways.
Yep.
What I was thinking was, before disc golf, of course, I didn't play a lot. I didn't like sign up for sport tournaments, but I don't know it. You had said that other sports don't have trophy only events, or no, I'm sorry, they are only trophy only. They don't have payouts and stuff.
And that's not true across the board, but that's most amateur sports are like that.
But do they have players packs?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think they do.
Doubt it.
I don't think a lot of them do.
Yeah, we may be even more spoiled than we.
That's what I'm saying.
Baseball players don't get. Oh, here's your new glove for playing. Like that's not a thing that happens,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I mean, spoiled may sound harsh, but it is almost the reality is that we've created a disc golf culture where people get upset if their players pack isn't good. And, if you play other sports, you don't get a players pack. You just play.
I wonder if the counterpoint to that, though, is like the players in that. So like we'll say bowling, for example, the players playing in that tournament, the money that they're paying to enter, I'm just guessing, probably doesn't have the same percentage of impact. Like a lot of the money that comes into a tournament is from the player registrations, I would guess. But like for a bowling tournament probably doesn't get the majority of their money from people registering.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not like you pay to get in and then you get your own money back. It's like you pay to get in and then win a lot of money.
Sure.
I'm guessing. I could be totally wrong.
Now, I know that when we switched to trophy only, we did that at GBO several years back, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but that on our end means that every person gets a just crazy good player pack.
Right.
Every year. It's nuts and it's awesome and people love it. So if you're going to do trophy only, I think that's probably the best way to do it considering the current climate of disc golf.
Correct. Next one is from Andrew.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Main crew? This is Andrew from Austin, Texas, and I had 2 questions for you guys this week. So the first one is regarding Disc Golf Pro Tour events this season. So the Memorial Championship is done. I'm recording this on March 6th for reference, and the next stop is Waco, which is definitely the tournament I'm most excited about because it's close to home and I can actually make it to play. So I'm really pumped about that one. But my question is, what is the event this year, aside from GBO, that y'all are most excited to either be going to or playing in or both? Just wanted to hear that for all 3 of you. And then my second question is a little
over this one first.
All right. Well, this is funny. I played with Andrew at the Waco Annual Charity Open last weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was great.
Was that your favorite?
Well, I don't know if it's the one I was looking forward to most because I didn't know I was going to play it until like a week before.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Anthony.
I
Thank
had
you,
a lot
Shay's
of say
job,
in that.
actually,
This
for
is
sending
true.
her out of town, so I had no reason to stay in town. But yeah, Andrew and I played together our second round. Yeah, second round, and it was great. We had a great time throwing together. He throws a lot of our plastic.
Nice.
Super good guy from Austin. So thanks for calling in, Andrew. The event that I am most looking forward to, I guess I'm only signed up for 2 more events right now. I'm sure I'll play more, but the one between those 2, Monkey Island is this coming weekend. Obviously, that's always fun. I love Peter Pan. I love getting to play with guys there. But the A tier that we're going to, Clash at the Canyons, that sounds really, really cool to me. 27 holes, beautiful property. I think we're going to have a really good time.
That's going to be a good
Yeah, just cruising up there with the bros, doing bro things.
Doing it.
Yeah, turning our hats around backwards, wearing puka shell necklace.
I think I might do the
bro
upside
shells.
down visor.
Oh, sick,
I
dude.
think I might try that off.
Frosted tips along with it.
For sure.
Being a real bro.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I'd say that's the event that I'm most looking forward to playing. The one that I'm most looking forward to attending this year is Worlds in Vermont. Vermont is unbelievably beautiful. It is so much fun. The courses look incredible. I will not be playing. I'll be caddying and walking with our players, but it's just a beautiful place. What about you?
Yes. I understood.
Next question.
I took it to be what are we most excited to watch?
Okay,
but
yeah.
that could also be because
That's good too, yeah.
I play 1 tournament a year.
Yes.
Worlds is always like up there for me just because it's Worlds. I've never been up to Vermont. I don't think I'm going this year. I'd like to.
Think about it.
I would try. I've heard it's super beautiful and everything. So that's always a good one. And then for me, the other one's always Beaver State.
Yeah.
I just think Milo it has every shot type, you can't just go out there. I think Big Germ this weekend, he called it the Heiser Olympics out in Vegas and Memorial and stuff like that. Like you can't do that at Milo.
Yeah.
You can't just big Heiser. You're not going to shoot well. So I really like it out there. But yeah, as far as playing Clash at the Canyons for sure.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking forward to a lot.
Should be fun.
I'm looking forward to the same as Robert going out to Vermont for Worlds just because I've heard so much about it. And it is a beautiful part of the country, so I'm excited about that. But I would like to do Beaver State's Fling.
Oh man, I would kill to go to Beaver State.
I think that's
Hey, you want to go?
Yeah, dude.
Want to go?
Sure.
Cool. Let's do it.
We got an RV
Roscoe.
specifically for this reason.
Thanks, Roscoe.
Yeah, but that's
you gotta hold down
like
the fort,
a 27-hour drive.
Yeah. So
I've done that drive 3 times.
for real from Oregon to
I
here.
went. Yep. Because when I moved out there, I went from GBO to there.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's not the most fun, but no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah. Oh, and Nantucket is right before Worlds. Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis are getting married there. I'm performing their wedding there. So I might play
What are you
Nantucket.
going to perform? Like a dance solo? Or?
I'll be yes.
Interpretive dance.
I'll be stepping. I'll be stepping. No, I'll be officiating their
this.
wedding. So I might get to play Nantucket as well.
Are you nervous? Do you have to like memorize lines and stuff?
Nah.
Have you ever officiated?
I'll be stepping though.
Have you ever?
I've officiated weddings before.
And?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you say and?
Yeah.
Well, they're still married.
Oh,
so
okay, that's good.
I made it. No, my dad has officiated. Conservative estimate is probably 110, 120 weddings. So I've watched him do it for forever. He helped me a ton when I got started, and then just it's I'm not like nervous about it. Is that what you're asking?
I guess, yeah.
No,
I mean, what
think-
if you say the wrong thing? Like,
if you say the wrong,
you, Erica. Sorry,
Dude,
Eric and Sarah. I mean, wait, what?
I have been at a wedding where that happened, where the preacher didn't write down the people's names, and he had known the girl for her whole life, and the guy just recently, and she said one of the girl's ex-boyfriend's name to the guy. Do you this
Yikes.
name? And it was the actual worst.
Yikes.
And there was some laughing, and then there was more just like super cringing. Just I don't want to be here anymore. So anyway, no, I'm not nervous about it. I think it's going to be great.
Cool. All right, here's the second.
Hang
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're going, Robert, but I'm really surprised, Bobby, that you did not say you're most excited to go to the Toonie. How?
The Toonie.
You could go to Beaver State any year.
That's true.
The
I'd
Toonie.
forgotten about the Toonie.
La
I get to go to,
I thought for sure that was going to be your answer.
I take that back. That's probably that's a misstep on my part because I'd be misstepping.
I'd be misstepping. God, we are the worst.
Toonie, I've been to Sweden twice, which were both amazing trips, and now I get to go to Finland for the first time ever in my life, and that's all thanks to disc golf and dynamic discs. So yeah, and we're gonna meet. I think they're shooting for 600 to 800 AMs out there.
Awesome.
That's going to be amazing. And then after that, we're going to go to Sweden for an event they're having out there. So it's going to be a 2-week European tour. European Disc Golf Adventure.
Are you guys going to the
jealous.
factory?
Huh?
Are you going to the factory?
Yes,
again?
we will go to the
Nice.
factory, I'm sure. So that'll be amazing. So
Yep.
I'll have lots of the videos coming from that.
I'll have lots of the sadness.
Yeah,
From when I'm just sitting at home.
You'll get to go.
I'll
at
go
some point,
sometime,
I'm
just
sure.
not this year.
All right, so let's see what his second part of his question.
A little bit more ridiculous. If you were to take all of the staff in the office out for a round of disc golf, who would do the best? Who
Eric.
would do the worst?
Robert.
And who would be the
Wait.
most enjoyable to watch play?
Bobby.
Go.
Okay. That's
Wait. Oh,
I think that's it. Who would do the best is Eric McCabe.
Yes.
He is a world champion. I have beaten him at tags like twice. He has beaten me at tags all the other times. Who would do the worst? Who's our worst player here?
I mean, probably like Allison or somebody who just doesn't play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just doesn't play.
Yeah,
I
she's
guess
on
that's
the sales
true.
team, and
Yeah.
she's. I've never seen her play. Has she?
I
ever
haven't
played?
either.
No, I mean, even in the meeting this morning, Denise brought up the ladies' league, and she was like, "Oh, my schedule looks really full."
I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be busy every day. For
The most
forever.
fun to watch. I don't know that anybody would be.
I think
Maybe also Allison.
you know who'd be. That's true. You know who'd be fun to play with though is Matt Sedgwick. I
Yeah.
really like Matty.
Mm.
He cracks me up.
Me and him have a thing. Of course, he always beats me, but I always, when it comes to bag tag season, I always look at him and say, "I'm coming after you.
Mhm.
I'm going to beat you,"
And then he beats you.
and then he beats me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Chris could be fun to play with too.
Yeah, I feel like Chris would be fun to mess with because like he doesn't play disc golf anymore. Like he doesn't care. Although he does play disc golf today
He does.
in match play.
He is going to play 9 holes and get beat by a 13.
10 holes is actually the shortest it could go, but still,
He'll forfeit.
yeah, just concede.
he
But-
says he's going to win.
Oh
Of
yeah, I'm
course he
sure.
says
I'm sure he
that.
thinks he's going to win. That's why I think it would be fun to play with him because he's still competitive. But like he
Okay,
doesn't play disc golf.
If you guys don't know who this is, okay, so Chris Edson, football player, pretty stout dude. I mean, if you saw him, you'd like, yeah, you play football, and he's just a big dude.
You even
and,
talk like that.
Yeah, no, and but he doesn't. He plays golf a lot, but he doesn't play disc golf. But he can throw pretty far.
He can throw pretty.
He can throw pretty far, but doesn't play very often. He is matched up against Isaiah
Esquivel,
who
one of our junior players on Team DD, who throws so far,
Tell
and
him
it's like really good.
What's the distance that he just birdied or eagled or something?
Yeah, so Peter Pan, current hole 16. There's it's 515 downhill, water on the right side, and OB that you could find on the left. It's some downhill, yeah, but it's not like super downhill.
Not a lot.
Enough, but anyway.
Okay.
Isaiah put it about 15 away with a Ballista Pro, and just casual too.
Yeah,
he was like 15 right.
Yeah,
too.
like pin high. It wasn't short. Yeah. By the way, on that hole, I play for 3. Like just big hyzer out in the field, pitch up. Isaiah doesn't care and just gets 2.
So Chris thinks, what time is that? What time is it?
I think it's at 4:30.
We might have to go out there and do
I'll go out there a little bit earlier.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so that too would be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
We digress.
Whatever.
This is Trenton.
Hey, my name is Trenton. I live in Vail, Colorado, and I actually went to college in Emporia from 2004 to 2008.
Nice.
So I saw Dynamic
my age.
come up from a small kind of like garage company to now an international disc golf symbol, which is pretty incredible. My question is, do you guys have someone appointed to the Dynamic branding, and also who designed the logo? Hey, thanks for taking my question. See ya.
The person that designed the logo is not with the company, not because of bad things, but just back in the day,
like
it wasn't really a
from
company.
the beginning. Yeah.
It wasn't really a company. It was just him. I mean, it started growing. This is what I know of the story. I don't know the exact, but I thought it was someone he went to school with.
Yeah, something like that.
And had made a few designs, and we now have that.
And it's crazy. We've got the poster that has all the concepts in the conference room, and so there's a bunch of different ones, and then there's this one, just the one that we use like still today.
This one
just sitting there,
by far the best one. Too.
Definitely, but spelled with a K, also hilarious.
Yeah, the other ones.
Dynamic discs.
So as far as branding, that person isn't with the company, but we do have people that we don't have a brand manager. We just have, like for me, the branding of, social media and media stuff is there. But then, of course, we have Kevin and Tim, who are the graphic designer, and they, of course, take care of the brand when it comes to graphic designs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Next one comes from Mike.
I really thought you were going to say boo.
Hey, DGAM fam. What's up? This is Mike. I have a quick question for you about fairway drivers. Right now I have 2 Escapes, Biofusion, and one of them is really flippy, which I really like, and then one of them is really straight, which is awesome as well. And then I have a Felon. The Felon that I have is very flat. It is a meat hook for me and my arm speed, which is something that I need in my bag, but it doesn't have a lot of glide. It's very fast, but it doesn't stay in the air very long. And there's a lot of times at the courses near me where I just need something to be really overstable, but something that'll stay in the air for a while. So I was just curious if there's a fairway driver out there that is like the Felon, maybe just has more glide, or if there's a specific run of the Felon that maybe is a little bit more domey that'll carry for me a little bit more. That's my question, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Thank you so much.
Felon with a little more glide. It's not out yet, but the Getaway sounds pretty close to exactly what you're looking for.
You're right.
As far as discs that are out right now, the closest thing maybe a Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being good. But yeah, the
similar stability, a little bit faster.
The Getaway, that's what you're going to want to try out.
Yeah, the Getaway was designed to be like a more overstable Escape, and it feels like an Escape, but it's pretty overstable. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really have turn to the right for me. It's just kind of straight and then just slowly goes to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think once the Getaway comes out, that's going to be your answer.
Yes. Excellent. Next one is from Joey.
Hey guys, this is Joey up in Ohio again. Hey, big shout out. I ran a Winners Marksman's League and it was an incredible success. It was super easy. The only downfall is I didn't beat Robert McCall's scores. I know.
Sorry, man.
Robert, I'll get you next year. But my putting got so much better, guys, and I really appreciated that. Hey, got a question. We got doubles league coming up, and we divide up random draw doubles. We have A guys and B guys. If there's an extra person, we do Cali. Guy plays alone. But we changed the rule last year because the A guy got to play 2 shots, and then it was basically like it was 2 A guys playing together, and the A guy and the Cali guy kept winning. So we made it to where if you throw 2 shots, you have to play the second one regardless. So this is a strategy question. So say I have a hallway, a narrow shot, and I want to throw my EMAC Truth down it, and that's what I always throw on that hole. Thanks, EMAC. Or if I was playing Cali and I would throw a Pine just as a secondary disc, but my go-to is that EMAC. Now, do I throw it first or do I throw it second? So seeing what you guys think on that. Thanks for all you guys do. You guys are great.
First of all, awesome that you're getting more people involved. I like splitting A and B players so that the players that are a little less skilled always get to play with a better player. I like that even better than random draw, because in random draw, two good players could get paired together and just shred. 2 not as good players could get paired together and just shoot a million over.
Mhm.
And so I like splitting up A and B players. Suggestion for playing Cali, instead of getting 2 shots per shot, if you pull Cali, how we've done it before is you get 1 extra shot per hole, period.
That's how I've always played it.
You can use it on the drive. You can throw 2 drives. You can pick whichever drive you want, but that's your extra shot for the hole. So from there on out, if you're throwing an approach, you get 1 approach. If you're throwing a putt, you get 1 putt. If you throw 1 drive, you can take 2 putts if you want to. Doesn't really matter. So that's one way to do it. We've also had, if you pull Cali and you want to throw 2 shots on every hole, then you have to pay twice, because now that's a little bit more fair. So if it is going to be like 2 A players playing together, then at least have 2 A players paying for that, right? So that's a couple of options for you. Coming to the strategy portion of the question. If it was me, I would always throw the disc that like my go-to. I would always throw that first.
Yeah.
Every single time, because when you're playing doubles, it is to your benefit to play aggressive first. Because let's say we step up to this hallway. I would probably throw an EMAC Truth on that as well. I throw my EMAC Truth on an aggressive line and it's perfect. Well, now I've got a second shot. If I want to ace run it, I could with regular old Cali rules. But if I was playing with a partner, now I've freed them up to be aggressive too. Whereas if you make the first person lay up, then you may not get 2 aggressive runs at it, even if one of them is good. Does that make sense?
And if you lay up the first shot, there's a lot of pressure on your second shot.
Yeah.
But if you have that good first shot, the second shot doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you can ace run it, and if it goes OB, oh darn,
Right.
you still have that good shot first. So that's same thing.
Yeah.
Take your trusty shot, what you would normally throw, do that first, and then the second throw kind of judge what happens with the first shot.
I would definitely play that first for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we have time for one last question. This one's from Will.
Okay, so here's my question. Once a week, my buddies and I get up super early, like 6 o'clock, and we play a bag tag round before work. In the event of a tie, we go by who has the most birdies. Now, I don't have the biggest arm, so I don't get a lot of birdies, but I usually win because I'm pretty consistent. And I've realized that this rule doesn't favor me. It favors more aggressive players. Now, we have to get to work, so we don't have a lot of time to do a sudden death round. So my question for you is, in the event of a tie, what is the fairest way to break it? And my second question is, if 2 players have the same score, is the person with the most birdies a better disc golf player?
Good question.
The way that we do it is whoever comes in with the lower tag leaves with the lower tag.
Yeah. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Because the cool thing with tags and how we always did it was called the tag challenge. So if say Anthony has the DD1 tag and I have the DD5,
Nailed
right?
it.
What would I have?
You would have the DD2 because y'all
Good
shredded
job,
it.
Bobby.
Nice.
Y'all shredded it together. I had a tough day.
Yeah, you did.
But that's okay. So I would come to these guys and I'd say, I want to challenge you guys for your tags, right?
Nope, I'm keeping my 2.
I
Dang it.
retired. Sorry.
Okay, I'll go find the 3 tag. But I come up and say, I challenge you. That means for me, at least how I've understood it, and we've played it before, it's on me to beat you.
Right.
If I don't and we tie, you get to keep your tag.
Right.
That's how we've always done it. to the second part of your question, if you get more birdies, does that mean you're a better disc golfer? No.
Just means you're different strategy.
That means you got more bogeys too.
Right. Like for example, this weekend, at Waco, my last round, the round where I played well, I had 12 birdies and 6 pars. A guy on my card had, I guess he had, 11 birdies. Wait, let me try this again. Math is hard. He got one of the guys on my card. We shot the same score, but he got an eagle. Are you saying that he's a better disc golfer, even though we got the same score?
He was on that hole.
He was on that hole. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, score is score.
Yeah.
No matter how many birdies or bogeys you got, as long as you shoot whatever it is. For me, our rounds were 55s. However you get there doesn't matter. The score is all that matters. So, I think the birdie rule is like kind of an okay idea, but if it was me, I would do by who came in with the lowest tag.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right, guys, thanks for sending in your questions. We appreciate it. Remember, we're going to have some special guests come in with Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis. We're going to see if we can get them on the air and answer some questions for you. So look forward to those episodes. We will see you next week.
Bye.